Back in 2016, my life changed forever. But not because of the reasons that one would typically think. You see, I always felt a little bit slimy or dirty with what I was doing. And I knew that something had to change. I didn't know what. So let me explain. So you know how most young teenagers, they want a job that they enjoy? And I just wanted to make a living doing something that I felt like I was progressing in. But I wasn't gonna settle with a regular 9-to-5 job either, because I always felt like I was dying inside. So I wanted something bigger and better, something more meaningful. And you probably know the feeling. There's this little inner voice it's nagging there. You can't really put a finger on it. It's just eating you from the inside out. And the same thing was happening for me. And so I set out on this journey to finally find out, like, what's the thing that I'm so passionate about? What's my true purpose in life? And then one day I got a call from a friend of mine, and he's like, hey, I got this once in a lifetime opportunity for you. And I know what you're probably already thinking. You're like, there's no chance in hell you joined that opportunity. We all know what that is. But yes, I did. I was desperate and I was like, I'm in, say no more. And so I went all in. I thought this was the moment that I've been waiting for, but it wasn't as glamorous as I thought it would, as you could probably guess. Selling supplements as a network marketer, I was doing all the home parties, recruiting friends and family members. You probably got some experience with this in your own life as well. Maybe you've been in one or someone that you know have. These are someone who are fully committed to convincing you about their new supplements, their new products, and their opportunity to work from home, make a side income. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there's a lot of people in the network marketing business who are amazing people. You probably do as well, but for me, it wasn't it for me. And so, while it never felt unethical or wrong per se, it definitely didn't feel like this was the one, this was the thing. It didn't click as, oh yeah, this is the business I want to do for the rest of my life. And so yes, well, at one point, my entire mission was just to help more people get healthy and get paid for the impact we're having with people. And I wanted to bring this online. I got shut down by the company I was with. And so I felt very limited. It's like everything has to be done in a specific way that just, to me, it felt slimy, like harassing your loved ones. And if I couldn't do it my way that felt genuine and ethical and fun, then I'd rather not do it at all. But the problem was I was dead broke and I needed the money. I needed to figure something out. You probably know the feeling, right? When you got the world on your shoulders, you're feeling the stress, the pressure, and it keeps building and it comes closer and it keeps creeping in. Bills are piling up and you feel lost because you don't even know where the next paycheck is gonna come from. And I mean, this stress and pressure can destroy the strongest of us, the strongest people in the pack. It's not an easy thing to deal with, especially if you've never been in that situation. Like, all you want is just to protect and provide for people that you care about. It was the same for me. We had just gotten married, me and my wife, and I still remember her one day. She was waking me up at 6 a.m. She's like, Gusten, I'm pregnant. So the amount of excitement and anxiety in the same second is something like out of a movie. I've never experienced anything like it. And our finances, it even got to the point where it was so bad I had to go inside my car and I had to scramble together a couple of bucks just to buy noodles so that we could have dinner that day. And at that moment, I knew I had to find something else, like something that actually works, because this was the lowest point of my life and I felt like a complete failure, to be honest, both as a man and as a person. Imagine just getting married to your beautiful wife. You can't even provide for her or your future kids, your family. But at that moment, I had a choice to make. Do I quit now, just give up and accept that I need to have a boring life and one in poverty? Or do I pick myself up and refuse to quit and make stuff happen and just find a way through it all? So I decided I was not gonna let this be the final chapter of my life. I needed to figure something out. The only problem was I had no specific expertise, no degree, I'm a college dropout. I had no previous experience in business or marketing or sales. And so the challenge was, how do you even start when you know nothing about business? You ever been there where you have the nagging feeling of like, there's more in life. Other people are doing it. I should be able to do it, but how? Like, where do I even start? And so I started over from square one. So now it's 2017 and I'm looking for something new online, something people are already making money with, that's working, something that's legit, it's in demand, it's a trend that's growing, that people actually care about, they're happy to pay money for. I mean, you're probably on the same boat, right? Watching all the YouTube videos and listening to the podcasts or reading the books, but you're still stuck and you're overwhelmed because you have all this information and you have analysis paralysis, you don't know where to start, what to do with it. The hardest part is you don't even know what's true anymore, right? It's impossible to even know who to trust when it comes to social media. So where do you even start? And then one day it hit me like a ton of bricks. I was like, what if I bring marketing online to social media and I learn it, but instead of selling my network marketing products, I could just go to those who need it the most, who also understand it, which is business owners. So I was like, what if I just go and help them instead using social media, which wasn't hard because I grew up with it and a lot of the older generation didn't. So for them, it was something that they would be happy to outsource as well. They needed help with it, right? And so now I started to feel like, man, I'm onto something. Like I don't have the entire blueprint, but at least I have a direction. I know where people are spending money and what is next for the industry. So what's interesting here is it wasn't that my idea of bringing stuff to social media with my network marketing company that was the problem. It was just a business model in which I wanted to implement my passion and my skills that I was learning, right? Like now that passion has since changed to becoming more creative around business growth strategies outside of just social media, but the principle remains the same. You know, I realized something that sometimes you gotta go not where people tolerate you, but where they celebrate you. Not where they go and like, okay, this person is so annoying because they have all these ideas, but actually we appreciate you because you're hungry, you're ambitious, and you're willing to learn and put in the work. And so I decided to move on and leverage that strength. I've since been able to transition more into an international market, and I've worked with some of the biggest brands in the personal development and consulting industry, info brands, personal brands, creators, YouTubers, not just with social media, but with marketing and the creative departments and the sales process and everything. I mean, copywriting, monetization, automation, design, you name it. And for me, it's the creative process of turning their vision into a reality that I enjoy and get fulfillment from. And I finally get to do that now for a living. After all these years and all the blood, sweat, and tears, I finally found a place where I could express my passion, my skills, and my vision for what I wanted to do with my life. And there are people who appreciate me for it, they're happy to pay for it. Like, what's better than that? Imagine you wake up and you're doing something you love, and you get to serve people, and you get to choose who you work with, and you get to turn clients down if they have red flags and they don't appreciate you. You're not a slave to anyone, but you have freedom, and you have choices, and you have options. And you say, sorry, I can't do that, don't want to do that. Yes, this sounds amazing. Let's do more of that instead. And so here's the moral of the story. Had I just listened to the first company and settled for the offline old school model, then I'd never been able to build a $1 million business doing what I love. But here's where things take a turn again. I finally had the business of my dreams, and I found myself in a place of more opportunities than ever before, right? People sending me messages, asking to work with them, being invited to speak at conferences, partnering on different projects, always booking calls and filling my calendar with everything else that other people wanted from me, not necessarily so much of the creative process that I once started with. So on one hand, I had more lucrative opportunities than I ever would have dreamed of even when I started. And you would have probably thought that I had finally, quote unquote, made it. And on paper, I mean, sure, things were going pretty good, but on the inside, I was suffocating, the part of me that started it all, the creative inner child that I just wanted to create, the inner part that had a vision and wanted that to come to life for myself and for people that I was working with. Because what once was a creative expression had now become a hamster wheel of just fulfilling tasks and project management and helping people and hiring and firing and admin stuff and legal and everything else that comes around doing the business. And don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful that I was able to get there to that point, but I'm also grateful that I didn't stop there, that I didn't go, okay, well, this is just a part of business. Because I could have said that early on as well, that this is just a part of life. Have you ever said that, where you're like, I guess this is life. You go to a job, you're not gonna like it, but you need the money to pay the rent. And so you go on this hamster wheel where it seems like there's no end in mind, where it seems like there's no end in sight. And I'm here to tell you that if you're feeling that way, there's more for you. You don't have to stop at wherever society said this is what you gotta do, or where your parents put a label on you and said this is who you are, or where maybe your old friends say, who do you think you are? And I'm forever grateful to have that courage where I said, no, that's not gonna be me. I trusted my inner voice the first time, and I did what I thought was the best thing to do and the right thing to do, and it worked out. And so why would I not do that again now? So that's what I did. And so if there's one thing that you take away from this video, is to always be in sync with your true self, to work hard on the right things, create a mission that fuels you, and something that keeps you focused on your North Star. Do that, and you'll never work another day in your life. And so I couldn't be more grateful for this life I get to live. And I want every single person watching this, I want you to experience the same. No matter where you are right now, what you've been through, just know that tomorrow can be different for you as well. Because I was once at a rock bottom, and now I've been able to climb the mountain and reach back down and help so many other people. And nothing could give me more enjoyment and pleasure and fulfillment than doing that and helping other people just like you. And so if you're off track and you're not on course, then there's still hope for you to course correct. And if you're out of sync, you can still reprogram your mind and get in line. You can still do the right thing, and you can still go and change the thing that you're dreaming of. The only way to fail is to never truly go all in on yourself, to never even try. And if you just refuse to quit, then you'll get there sooner or later. It's not a question about if, it's just a question about when. So my question to you is, when are you gonna start?